Hey, everybody, welcome to the summit, the Members Summit. And our first guest for the Members Summit is a woman that is a mentor, she's a friend, and heck, she's my sister. She really reaches out to the community and says, you know what? You might want to try it this way. And every time she says that to me, it works. I don't know how she knows that. That's right, Lady Jen is here. What's happening, Lady Jen?
Hey, I'm so delighted to be here. I'm
So
absolutely delighted to
delighted
be
to
here.
have you. But before we
Yeah,
get to
thanks.
work and we get to business, we got to
Yeah,
talk about something important.
what's that?
When do you start taking the boat out? Because it's springtime
I
now.
know. Well, we de-winterized it last weekend. I wasn't here, of course. I was busy, but we de-winterized it last weekend, and we thought we would take it out this weekend, but now the weather's changing. So right now, we're starting to get ready, starting to open up our weekends, make sure that I'm, focusing on what's important over the summer.
And on top of that, you're like a captain because whenever we
I
have an
am a
event and
captain.
we're by a body of water,
Yeah.
you'll go and rent a boat or something and invite a bunch of people to come out on the boat the day before or something like that. One, how are you a captain in every state and country? And two, why do you do that? Why do you invite everybody out to come hang out with you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I can't wait to tell you about why because I just finished something up here that I want to talk about. But yeah. Okay. So Brian and I belong to a boat club called the Freedom Boat Club, and it's international. So I can go to England and rent a boat. Technically, I don't rent it. It's like okay. It's like a golf club. You or a golf. Yeah. Is it called a golf? Whatever.
Golf club,
Wherever you.
yeah.
Yeah, golf
Country
club.
club, country
Country
club.
club, a country club.
Yep.
Yeah, you go there and you pay a membership fee. I mean, an initiation fee, and then you pay a monthly membership fee. And my company pays for that membership fee. And because my company pays for that membership fee, it's all write off, right? And then it allows
Ah.
me to reserve a boat. I don't rent it. I reserve a boat, and the only thing I pay for is gas. So then I require that everybody who comes on the masterminding in the marina with me, that they bring the snacks. Right?
Masterminding in the marina. That is the coolest thing ever. It's like that is brilliant. I hope you trademark that because somebody's gonna take it.
Oh, I don't know.
Masterminding
Someone
in the
might. I don't know.
marina.
We did masterminding in the Bay, masterminding, in Miami. It just depends on wherever I go. But the reason I do it, and I just did this at Secret Knock too. We didn't go out in the marina because I just gotten off a 10-day cruise with the San Juan Social Club, so I didn't want to be on the water, right? But we did it, inside instead. But the reason I do it is that, so often when we go to these networking events, we're going to run across people we know, and then we're
Right.
going to run across new people. And so I love just saying, hey, who's up for getting together and doing, a mini mastermind so that we can learn about each other, and then we can be each other's bird dogs as we're meeting other people during the event. And for the people that don't, that they're new, including myself, it makes me feel better when I walk in the room because then I know a few people, instead of walking in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But people are talking about it weeks later. I can go to
Yes.
another event and they'll say, "Oh, there's Lady Jen. She took us out, in the marina. She took us here. And they're
Yeah.
just over the moon. I guess if you're from the city, I mean, I've been fishing since I was 18 months old, but
Yeah. It
it's
might
like
be a
if
new experience. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
experience and they've never
Yeah.
done anything like that. Now, you have a mastermind coming up next week if you're watching this live. You've got one coming up next week, April 23rd. Is that on water or land?
No, I have a virtual masterclass
Ah,
that
okay.
day. That's
Okay.
about it. Yeah,
What
I
is
have
that mastermind about?
yeah, that masterclass is going to be, it's called Hustle to Harmony, right? How to build a business that lasts. And it's a 4-hour masterclass. And we're going to have a surprise guest come in and talk about it. And, it's really pegged to, business owners that are struggling to get out of their business, not being so involved in the minutia, and how to set up teams and strategies and systems, and, really hone in on their soft skills so they can get those hard results. And so we're going to be talking about that, during that master class, to really, help you get out of the hustle and get into harmony and be able to do what I'm doing. Right? I use my cell phone and this little crazy setup that I have all the time, and it's wherever I am, and I can do anything I want So I want to help others get out of business like that too.
So can I ask you, personally, I know I can ask you anything. I can call you and say, "Hey sis, what about this?" But publicly, we don't talk about everything publicly because, it's our business or whatever. But I want to ask you,
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
lot of people get stuck in success. And by
Yeah.
that I mean they get to a certain level. They've got it in their head there's a glass ceiling there. And I understand in corporate America there may be a
Oh
glass
yeah.
ceiling,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not necessarily in your business. They kind of
Right.
just mentally say that's as far as I can go.
Yeah.
How do you get past that ceiling? How do you get your mindset right to be able to do the things that you've done? Because you've been breaking records your entire career.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I run 4 6-figure businesses. One of them is a 7-figure business, and I don't do the minutia. I don't do the minutia of it. It's really a rinse and repeat pattern. But where this really stems from, at least my perspective. So listen in on this, everybody. Is that not everyone has the when you come out of corporate America or some other job you come out of, you have a set of skills, and you have to remember that all that the skills that you have, there may be gaps in those skills to be able to run a business. And so we think that we come out and we say, look, I'm the best widget maker that there ever was, and so I'm going to start a company about widget making. But you forgot that that's the practitioner part of the job. You already have that job. You need other
Hmm.
people to make the widget, and you need to manage the widget makers. And so what we do is we go from one job that pays us 9 to 5, and we have insurance and we have benefits, to another job that doesn't pay us, right? Unless we're hustling in the job, we don't have all the time and the freedom and everything. So we actually go from a paid job to worse situation as an entrepreneur, unless we're aware of the gaps that we're bringing in and how
Uh-huh.
we can fill those gaps by hiring other professionals or developing it ourselves. And what I find is that most people come into entrepreneurship lacking management and leadership skills.
Absolutely. And
And
they
that's
also
where they
come
get
in
stuck,
thinking they're the only ones that can do the job. I
because
make the
I'm the only
best
one who can do
widget.
it. Yeah,
I'm the
because
only one
and
that can do it.
that's it. And give it to me. Give it. I can do it better. Give it. And then everybody else goes home, and then guess who gets stuck doing all the stuff while you're paying all these people to do the job, but you won't let them do the job. And so it's letting go to grow, right? You have to be able to let go to grow. But then there's a skill set behind knowing what to delegate, what not to delegate, how to train people so you don't feel drowning. And and that's where I'm an expert at, and I help people do that all day long. And so it's the mechanics behind it. It's not even really the avatar. I don't care what phase of business you're in. It's that I have the mechanics to get you out of that mundane stuff. And my saying is, move from working in and on your business to living in above and beyond your business.
How do you get out of your own way? Because that's one of the messages that I took from you. I don't think you've ever said, Tigo, get out of your own way. But the messages that you have given me over the years told me I'm in my own way. I need
Yeah,
to get out
yeah,
of my own way. How do
yeah.
you see that you're in your own way, and how do you get out of your own way?
Yeah. Well, I call it the bottleneck. Like, you are the bottleneck in your business. You're the bottleneck, not anybody else. You are. You're the bottleneck, right? And one of the key ways that you'll know if that's happening is when you say, "I don't have time to. I don't have enough time to do that. I have excuses for this. I can't make it to that because I have to do this." And I want to really encourage people to go from, and you've heard this saying before, right? I have to do something, and everyone says, no, you say you get to do, because I have to do laundry. No, I get to do laundry because I have clothes. Right? There's a third element. I choose to do. And
Ah,
it's choosing. That's how you're going to get out of it, is recognizing and increasing your awareness that you're in this chaos. I call it eating soup with a fork. Right? So if you're running 100 miles an hour and you're eating soup with a fork, and at the end of the day you're exhausted and you didn't move the needle in your business one iota, you did a bunch of stuff,
and you're also
don't get me
starving.
wrong, but you didn't move the needle in your business, and you're exhausted and you're not full and your pockets aren't full. That's when you gotta let go to grow. You got to get other people in there to help you manifest this business, and it's buying your time back. It really is buying your time back. And people would just, they shy away from it because they're like, I don't know what to tell them to do. Or this is a good one. hi, I'm going to interview somebody at a panic attack. I'm going to tell you this too, a panic attack, and say, hey, you know what? You're great. Let's just bring you in and we'll figure out a spot for you. The worst thing in the
Mm,
world you could ever do. But when we're on our cell phones and it gets
yeah.
down to 17%, we're running around, hey, 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 do you have a cord? Do you have a lifeline? Do you have a lifeline? But in business, we go all the way down to zero. The freaking phone shuts off. And then we go, oh, well, now I need somebody.
Yeah.
Now I need somebody,
Absolutely.
right? And then we make
Absolutely.
horrible, poor decisions because we're in a panic mode. And I'm saying, do it now, do it now, get to it now.
So the other side of this, and I've never asked this question, and if I was going to ask it to anybody, it would be you. Um, People let too much of their business go. They've got virtual assistants and contractors and all this stuff, and and they're just not monitoring their business at all. And then one
Yeah,
day they look up and they think they're here,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then they find out probably right around tax time they're here. What happened in here? What advice would you give
Right.
somebody who's let too much of the reins go?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, again, if you go back to in everybody's business, so think about your business this way is you can handle one client and you can handle maybe three or five clients or whatever. And you start creating a system that you know how it works really well here. And the reason people are coming to you is because you've created an experience that makes them feel good, and then you decide I need to hire people, and they are expected to make that same experience and make everybody feel good, and start going through the cracks. Things start happening and people are going, oh, because I get this. I totally get this because we know people that talk a good talk, but the fulfillment piece is what's missing. So what I work with my clients is making sure that we have our standard operating procedures, our experience. I call the client experience. You'll never hear me say customer service because it's old. Nobody cares about serving the customer. It's the experience that they get. So if you've built a great experience that is already proven and people are coming in and you have this rotating room of opportunities that are coming your way and referrals that are coming your way, and now the challenge is that you can't serve them in that manner. You've got to hire a team. And here's the thing, I had an ego, right? I had this ego on my shoulder that said, but they want me. They want me.
Ah,
I'm the only one who can do this. They want me. But the bottom line is when you have a beautiful customer experience and you have checkpoints and you are the person who's checking, and then eventually you hire someone who can check for you, and you're not avoiding your monthly numbers and looking at everything, because you still have to do that, right? You still have to look at
right.
all of those things. When you build that, nobody cares if you're there. Do you care that the CEO of Starbucks is sitting there waiting for you? Do you care?
I
Right?
think it would
Because
scare the crap out of me, to be
right,
perfectly
right,
honest.
right. Because what they've done is they've created an experience that is duplicatable, repeatable. If I go to Paris, it feels like walking into my Starbucks. It's exactly the same
Ah,
thing. Everything's laid out in the same place. The experience is exactly the same. And this is why businesses scale so well. And what we have to do is we have to get this process out of our head and onto paper, and then maybe automated at some point in time. But if we don't get it out of our head, we can never hire anyone, because then they come in and they're just twiddling their thumbs going, what do I do? And you go, well, I don't know. I hired you to be the thing. You know that, right? Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever
oh,
experienced where
heck
you
yeah.
brought someone in and they're just sitting around, right? And you're going,
Yeah,
well, what's their problem? I'm paying them, but it's not their problem, it's your problem. It's not finger pointing, it's thumb pointing.
absolutely.
They
Both
don't
thumbs.
know. Yeah, they don't. I
For
know.
me,
I
both
did the same
thumbs.
thing. I'm like, what's your problem? And I'm thinking, well, it's my problem. And yeah, so it's getting your system has to be on paper from day one, and then automated at some point in time if that's what you choose to do. But your system can't be in your head because nobody else will know your system, and you'll never be able to bring people on. And listen, we're in an environment where a lot of people are like, I don't need 1,000 people on my team. You don't need that. And AI, my assistant, my I don't like calling her that, operations director Vicky, she does my social media, she does my copy, she
Hmm.
does my all my email campaigns, she manages my clients. right? All of their payments and contracts and stuff like that. She does all of it. But without the help of AI, I would need probably 2 or 3 people. So we've built that so that I can have one person who can be more effective and efficient as well. And I'm still paying her instead of saying, hey, I've got to split your job into 3 things and now you're going to have a lower income.
Right. Right. I got to ask you something. I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Fear. You were knighted. You're on stages all over the world. You own 4 or 5 companies. You're a captain. Has there ever been anything that you were afraid of? Anything you just would not do? Or how do you tackle fear?
Wow, that's a really good question because I don't know if I've ever been asked how I tackle fear. I'm now to the point I just realized the last 4 or 5 speaking engagements that I'm on, I have no butterflies whatsoever for anything that I'm doing, and that took probably 15 years. There were times where I would be just a little angst or remember this thing, and now I don't have any fear whatsoever of getting on. And I think it's repetition. The fear is repetition. Um, again, false evidence appearing real. That's what fear is. It's false
Hmm.
evidence. We're already pre anticipating what could go wrong rather than pre anticipating what could go right. And I tend to have that more optimistic look. I manifest a lot. I don't want to get woo woo, but I just believe that God already has my plan. And so I just say thank you in advance for, all those clients who are going to say yes to working with me. Thank you in advance for all the hearts I'm going to touch today.
Uh
Thank you
huh.
in advance for all the impact I'm going to make on people that I'll never know I made an impact on. It's already done. So I don't have the fear of going from A to Z. I'm already at Z because I know it's already in the plan. And if we don't take that chance, God only wants good for us. He doesn't want bad for us. But if you talk about bad, you're going to get bad. So just talk about the good side of things. Um, I think the other thing with fear, I'm just talking about I'm very much a calculated kind of person. If I had enough fear, I would probably be doing a Benjamin Franklin of, okay, so I'm fearful of this, but this is what I'm going to get. Again, I'm going to go back to it. It's what I believe is out there for me. I just don't sit in the mud over here. I go, this is what I want. This is what I see. I know I can impact people. I know I can change people's lives. I know I can impact my life, and I know I'm doing good out in the world. I just fear is what I want is so much bigger than the fear that I can't even see it. I can't even answer this question because I just can't see
But you did answer this question. And the next question I have, because we're going to run out of time, is I see you at various events. We run through the same pond and different lily pads. And I see you at different events. Recently, we were at Secret Knock and you sponsored, the Tub of Love. We all love the Tub of
it.
Love at
Yes,
Secret
we
Knock.
do. I just want to
Why
win it
is
one
it so
day.
important to you to support the organization of the event that you go to? Because I notice you do that a lot. You make sure that you do something for the organization itself. Why is that?
Yeah, I try to because again, I'm giving back. I know how hard it is on this side, right? To try to put something on and look for people to help support you. Um, and I just want to make it easier for someone if it makes sense for me to do it. It's not a pay to play, by the way. It is because I don't do that anymore. I don't do any pay to play. I'd rather have a revenue base with somebody than pay to play,
Hmm.
because you'll get more from me by doing that.
Hmm.
But I think that I know what it's like to try to put something together, and when someone's asking for a sponsorship, if I'm able to do it and it makes sense for me to do it, why wouldn't you? Just say yes. Say yes to more opportunities and watch what comes your way. And I got a client that I can't mention because he's very, very well known from that event. And I'm proud to say that I am coaching this person. And how exciting is that? But I can't tell anybody who it is. I
That's
well, I
awesome.
could. I could probably tell you behind the scenes because I know you won't say anything, but I don't want to tell everybody
Yeah,
publicly.
let's
But
not tell it publicly.
but
Let's not do
um
that.
but yeah, I got a client that just said, how do I do this? I need help. I can't do this anymore. I need help. I need you. And I said, wow, I made an impact. That's
That's
paid or
awesome.
not, it doesn't matter. I made an impact. So anytime you can get yourself in the front of the stage, by sponsoring or by paying to play, whichever way it goes, or maybe, just Greg just likes putting me up there anyway. But anytime you can get yourself up there, you're impacting people. It's not about you, it's about them. You're impacting them. And if you can impact their lives, then you're doing good in the world. I'll come back to you tenfold. Even if one client doesn't come back to you, everything will come back to you tenfold.
Absolutely. Tell everybody about your masterclass one more time and how they can find out more information.
Yeah, so I wish I had a QR code. I don't. So you got to write notes down here. Text, I don't want you to text anything. Email me personally at jen@jenduplessis.com. And I know you'll put this someplace, jen at
Yes, we will.
jenduplessis.com. Email me personally. And in the tagline, just put now, right? Now.
Now,
And I'll know that you want a VIP ticket, but you will have to put in the comments what you want, how many you want. You want a couple? I would give you up to probably 3 or 4 for your team, but yeah, just comment now, and I will get you a VIP ticket. It includes a power hour before the actual event with me, where you can ask me anything you want. I call it decades in a day, right? You'll
wow.
get decades of information, or maybe I should call it something else. Lots of
I
time in an
love
hour.
lots of time in an hour.
Lots of time in an hour. I'm going to compress time for you in an hour. You'll get time with me and all the other VIPs, and the general admission doesn't do that. So you'll have an opportunity to get some real one-on-one time with me, where I can answer your questions directly.
I thank you so much for your support, for
I
always
thank
having
you.
my back. And when I call, you say, if I can fit it in my schedule, I'll be right there. And I know how busy you are. You are absolutely the best. Thanks for being one of my sis.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
You're the
much.
best. Hey,
Thank you.
everybody, if you didn't get to write it down, if you didn't know, that she was going to give this wonderful thing away, you know what to do. Go to tigodirect.com, type in Lady Jen. She'll come up, send her a private message and say, I want to be at the mastermind. And she can reach back to you, or one of her team members will. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Yes, we're going to continue the summit every Thursday. And I hope you have a great day. I'm Tigo, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a great day.